I think it takes two to tango, and you're going to have to make a deal with Russia, and you're going to have to make a deal with Ukraine. Now, maybe somebody doesn't want to make a deal, and if somebody doesn't want to make a deal, I think that person won't be around very long. That person will not be listened to very long. Because I believe that Russia wants to make a deal. I believe certainly the people of Ukraine want to make a deal.
President Zelensky went to the White House and making demands. He was making threats to the United States of America, thinking he was in Ukraine. Now, I'm not going to say President Zelensky is a dictator. However, he did suspend all the opposition political parties in Ukraine. I'm not going to call him a dictator. However, he did consolidate all the national TV channels in Ukraine into one government-controlled broadcast. Sounds familiar? I think Russia has something similar. I think North Korea also has something similar. I'm not going to say President Zelensky is a dictator, but if you are a journalist in Ukraine and you are talking bad about him, he will punish you. But I'm not going to say he is a dictator. I'm not going to say he's a dictator, but he made the decision to get his country into war, and now he is forcing his citizens to fight and literally gets deleted into this war. But I will not say he's a dictator. Quickly after President Trump met with President Zelensky at the White House, Trump realized that peace was not something Zelensky was really interested in. And any good leaders know how to negotiate. Good leaders know when and how to pivot so you can focus on more important things. And that's exactly what President Trump did. President Trump realized that Zelensky was playing game. President Trump said, listen, call me when you are ready for peace. Call me when you are ready for this war to end. Because at the end of the day, if I'm trying to help you, I cannot want to help you more than you want to help yourself.
Our allies understand this. What is beneficial for both our allies and our enemies is to know that America is back, that Donald Trump doesn't play games, that when we have a dynamic like with President Zelensky, it was very unfortunate. He knew exactly what was happening and what was needed, and yet he decided to do something else in the midst of the Oval Office.
He is incompetent, and that's what happens when you take someone that does not have the knowledge, the understanding, and the skills to hold such position. President Zelensky, before he became president, he was a joker. He was a comedian, making people laugh.
And that kind of disrespect for the nation, for both the president and vice president, is unacceptable. And yet, the commitment remains. There is a very distinct focus by the president and this administration for peace to prevail. And I think now, of course, there's still an open door for this to be renewed, for this to take place for President Zelensky on behalf of his country. But when it comes to the world in general, people understand, especially like with the border, that our partners understand that this is going to happen. We've got a president who means business and is going to take action to make it all happen. So it's a very exciting time.
No doubt. I would anticipate, and I'd mentioned before we had you on just moments ago, that the border would be in focus for them tonight. I would think all of everybody in the chamber, all of America, and then with the president speaking. This is just happening, and it's something that we could hear about tonight as well, Tammy. The Trump administration is looking at what is next and next steps with Ukraine and what those steps will be after last week's tense dust-up in the Oval Office. The White House has temporarily paused military aid to Ukraine until that country's leaders prove a commitment to reaching peace. So much of what our spokesperson, Tammy Bruce, for the State Department, was just talking about. Who wants peace in this deal?
It's important that everybody come to the table, and the president is trying to send a very explicit message. The Ukrainians have got to come to the table and start negotiating with President Trump.
Now, how come you expect us to keep sending you billions of dollars when you have not even shown that you are really, really wanting and ready to make peace happen?
All right. And Tammy, I want to get to this because it's part of the story that broke just moments ago. We wanted to get this up on screen so everybody could see it together. It looks like President Zelensky may be listening and that President Trump is having some success with his pressure campaign.
President Zelensky has no other option but to listen. And that's what sleepy Joe Biden could not understand. You are in a situation, you are in a position of power. You have a lot of things that you can leverage on. How come you let the person with nothing to leverage on is leading and dictating and directing you on how things are going to get done? No, this is weak leadership. That's exactly the opposite of what President Trump is showing. Listen, you need us. You need our money. You need our military equipment. You need our intelligence. Therefore, listen, sit down and listen. You don't come here making demands. Who do you think you are? Matter of fact, get out of my office. When you're ready to talk, you let me know. And this is what real leadership is about. And now, shortly after, days after, we are seeing results.
Zelenskyy has just posted this. Nobody wants peace more than Ukrainians. My team and I stand ready to work under President Trump's strong leadership to get a peace that lasts. We are ready to work fast to end the war. Our meeting in Washington at the White House on Friday did not go the way it was supposed to be. It is regrettable that it happened this way. It is time to make things right.
Isn't it refreshing to have a leader that understands how things get done? Isn't it refreshing to have a leader that understands that talk is cheap. We need action. If you want our money, show us that you are serious. Show us that you are really ready for peace. We can't keep sending you billions of dollars just like President Biden was doing for 4 years and no end results. Now it's time for action. You should say, I'm sorry to the American people. You should say, I'm sorry to the United States of America. And lastly, you should say that you are sorry to the president and to the VP for disrespecting them in the Oval Office. That's what you should say before or after this tweet.
Well, look, this is the result of leadership. Some people operate through rhetoric and antics. And then there is the continuum of the powerful nature of rhetoric asking for something that everyone wants, which is peace. We have a great leader in President Trump. And of course, I would argue the best diplomat in the world, to say the least, with Secretary of State Marco Rubio. This is the end result of what happens when you make it clear to someone that there is one way to move forward. And it's not a controversial way. It's about peace and saving lives of people that have gone through so much carnage and so much pain. It's great news, but it happens because President Trump remains focused and steady and his arguments work. And that's what we're seeing right now.
That is leadership. As always, it's always a pleasure to have you. Thanks for watching. And of course, give this video a thumbs up. It's going to help me with the algorithm. Don't forget to leave a comment. Let me know what you think as I continue to call out the nonsense from the liberal, woke, radical Democrats. You guys stay safe.